waste and its management. So this is a presentation that talks about the importance of proper waste management and how everyone plays a role in solving waste-related problems. In sa overview, improper waste disposal causes pollution and health risk. Ibig sabihin, when people throw garbage anywhere, like for example, they throw garbage in streets, rivers, or open areas, it causes pollution and it can lead to a serious health problems like diseases. Solid waste management helps keep the environment clean and safe. Ibig sabihin, solid waste management, or what we call SWM, it is the proper system of segregating, recycling, collecting, and disposing of waste rather, to keep our surroundings clean and safe for everyone. Next is, everyone has a role in managing waste responsibly. Waste management is not just the government's job. Every individual, like children, adults, families, and communities, has a responsibility to manage waste properly. The next is the current issues. Metro Manila generates tons of waste daily. Metro Manila produces huge amounts of waste every single day. This is a major problem for such a highly populated city area or urban area. Waste management is a major concern for city mayors because of the growing waste problem. City mayors are very concerned and are looking for ways to improve how their cities manage wastes, and it is a big challenge that needs urgent solutions. Efforts in Pasig City, Mayor Vico Soto introduced a sustainable SWM program. In Pasig City, Mayor Vico Soto has taken action by launching a sustainable waste management program. Ibig sabihin, it is designed to last long term and help solve the city's waste problem in an eco-friendly way. Taga-Pasig, ang swerte ng mga taga-Pasig kay Vico Soto because hindi lang SWM program yung pinapatupad niya, kundi parang every month yung mga student is may mga supplies, so they must be so lucky. Then the call to action, children deserve a clean environment. We must protect the environment not just for ourselves but for future generations. Every child deserves to grow up in a clean, healthy environment. Next is proper waste management starts at home. You don't have to be in government to make a difference. Managing waste properly at home, like segregating garbage and not littering, is a big step in solving the waste crisis. Solid waste. What is solid waste? Solid waste means materials that people throw away after using them. These come from homes, factories, and farms. There are three types of three types of solid waste, which are the organic, synthetic, and inorganic. When you say organic, it comes from living things like paper, food, or wood. And you say synthetic, it is a man-made materials like plastic or fabric. And inorganic solid waste, this means the non-living materials like metal, glass, or stones. If solid waste is not thrown away properly, it can harm plants and animals. Kumbaga, na-harm yung biodiversity natin. Also pollute land and water. It also causes diseases or even death in human and animals. And yung global concern natin is managing solid waste properly is now a big issue. Hindi lang sa Pilipinas but around the world, because it affects both the environment and people's health. Types and sources of solid waste. Hazardous wastes. Types and sources of solid waste, defined by DENR as waste with no safe use, harmful to health and the environment. So, dinefine siya ng DENR as basura na or waste na hindi ligtas gamitin, and it can harm our health. And this includes toxic chemicals, contaminated equipment, heavy metals like lead, mercury, arsenic, and etc. So, saan ba nanggagaling itong solid wastes? Nanggagaling siya sa manufacturing industries, consumer discards, and imported waste. So, there are risks kapag merong solid waste. It absorbed by plants and nag-enter siya sa food chain. It causes diseases including cancer, and cancer is nakakamatay, so we need to make movements para hindi magkaroon ng solid waste. It is also harmful to humans, and poor waste management increases environmental and health dangers. You can see in the screen some sources of hazardous wastes and some examples of hazardous wastes. Industrial wastes. It refers to the unwanted materials produced by industries and factories during manufacturing or production processes. These wastes can be solid, liquid, or gaseous, and many of them are harmful to the environment if not disposed of properly. One of the causes of industrial wastes is improper disposal of industrial byproducts, and there are a lot of impacts or bad impacts of industrial wastes. One of the impacts of it is water pollution. Yung mga chemicals is nalileak siya into rivers and ocean, and na-harm niya yung aquatic life. Kita natin sa screen yung some sources of industrial wastes and some example of industrial wastes. Agricultural wastes. Waste from farming activities includes manure, harvest waste, pesticide runoff, and slaughterhouse waste. These wastes come from farms, plantations, dairies, and slaughterhouses. Kapag sobra na yung agricultural wastes, nagkakaroon siya ng environmental impact. And one of the most impacts of the agricultural wastes is yung soil degradation. So, yung chemical waste reduces soil fertility. Yung dito is nasisira yung lupa because of the chemical waste. Makikita natin sa screen yung some sources of agricultural wastes, and some examples of agricultural wastes. Biomedical wastes from diagnosis, treatment, or research involving humans or animals. These are the wastes generated from hospitals, clinics, laboratories, and other healthcare facilities. These include materials that may be infectious or harmful to humans and the environment. Example is expired medicines and vaccines. So one of the causes of biomedical wastes is lack of waste segregation and treatment. At dahil doon is nagkakaroon ng impact sa ating environment. So one of the effects of it is it harms the animals and waste workers. Sabi dyan, why are they harmful? Toxic daw siya sa land, air, and water. And pwede siya magkalat ng diseases. It includes sharp contaminated items. Example is needles. So there are ways to manage that. The first is hospitals follow strict waste guidelines. And many more like nakikita nyo sa screen. Solid wastes is one of the major problem of Philippines right now. So, kapag kinontrol natin yung solid wastes, magkakaroon tayo ng magandang environment. Dito kasi sa atin, the population grows and because of that, nag-i-increase yung solid waste. Kaya nga dapat nagre-require tayo ng proper waste management. Ang goal is to reduce waste generation, protect the environment, and ensure a clean, a safe community for future generation. Maaabot lang natin yung goal na yan kapag tayo mga humans is responsible na kapag gumagawa ng different activities sa ating environment. So, there are 7 ways of controlling solid waste. Makikita natin sa screen, which are the disposal, landfills, incineration, composting, recycling, reuse, and lastly, reduce. By implementing or doing these activities, we can control the solid waste. Effects of waste mismanagement. When you say waste mismanagement, ito na yung hindi natin makontrol yung mga waste, kumbaga walang proper waste management. Kapag nagkakaroon tayo ng waste mismanagement is marami siyang impact sa ating environment and sa humans and different organisms. One of the impacts of waste mismanagement is the direct handling of overflowing waste exposes for health risks. Ito na yung kahit sa ang pagtapon ng basura, and kapag dumadami yung basura, nagkakaroon ang humans or different organisms ng sakit. Because kapag naiipon yung mga basura is tinitirahan yun siya ng mga insects. Like for example na lang is tinitirahan siya ng mga mosquitoes. And yung mga mosquitoes is pumupunta sa different houses para mangagat. And dito natin minsan nakukuha yung malaria or dengue. Nuclear hazards risk or danger to human health or the environment exposed by the radiation emanating from the atomic nuclei is called the nuclear hazards. It refers to the dangers and harmful effects caused by the release of radioactive materials from nuclear power plants, weapons testing, or accidents. These materials emit radiation, which can be extremely dangerous to living things and the environment. So, ano ba yung mga causes nito? One of the major causes of the nuclear hazard is the leakage or damage in reactors and storage facilities. And kapag nagkakaroon tayo ng nuclear hazards, nagkakaroon siya ng effects like its spread of infections and diseases, soil and water contamination, and it also harm to animals and waste workers. So there are possible solutions to manage that. First is segregating waste, of course, no? Proper disposal and treatment, and using eco-friendly and reusable medical materials. So, ang susi talaga para hindi magkaroon ng anything environmental problems is people should be responsible enough when doing some activities in environment.